Hey guys, welcome back to this place, and if you are new, then welcome here for the very first time. I am Carmen, and today we are going to be delving into Season 2, Episode 2 of The Expanse. I have just gotten done watching the first episode of Season 2, so I'm very hyped to continue and watch Episode 2. I think that the show is really great, and I love the direction that it's going. So I can't wait to see more of what happens. So without any more of me rambling, let's just get into it and see what's going on now.
Deep radar station on Deimos. It's mostly automated, minimal personnel. Casualties will be light.
It's a declaration of war.
No, it's a warning. A base for a base. I don't know how we can get much more proportional than that.
I will not support this escalation.
Are you saying you won't carry out a lawfully given order?
Bro.
If that's the case, Admiral, I'm afraid I'm gonna have to ask.
No need to pretend this is a request, sir. I'll step down as fleet commander.
But he's the only one opposing them.
Maybe it's the story of where the hell you've been since then, without one goddamn word of communication back to me.
We were on Eros. We barely got out alive. And the only reason we're here now is to see if you want to do something about it.
It wasn't a biohazard emergency.
Yep.
Someone was testing a weapon.
We uncovered a plan to unleash this thing on Eros. She tried to stop it, she got infected.
They're beaming the data here. It's an abandoned communications relay.
At least some of the people responsible for Eros are going to be there.
That's a stealth ship, like the ones they used to kill the Dominator.
We have a gunship of our own.
Slugging it out with a stealth is not gonna get it done. If you want to take that station, you need to land an assault team. Do you have any idea of the resistance inside?
No, we don't. That's why we're talking to you. You're the military genius.
We should have saved more. We saved us. Crew comes first. If we would have went back for strays, we'd end up dead like them.
Should have at least tried. You can talk all day long about, looking out for yourself and minding your own business.
I feel like
trying to
Amos is going to be
survive.
gone.
I mean, what kind of people are we that we only help?
Uncle Ben said he'd buy me drinks if I sit here and listen to you.
Alex wants to do something. Amos doesn't do anything he doesn't want to. And if you think I'm going along just because of you...
You never wanted to be on the same team as Fred Johnson or be tangled up with the OPA again.
I ran with some bad people once. Stupid kids with no data and big ideas. I got involved in some things. Innocent people died.
I'm glad we're learning more about Naomi's past.
Do you think the others have a sense about what's going on with us? I mean, Amos?
We could make a public announcement, get everyone on the same page, or take out an ad.
No, it's just, I was never clear about how you two, well, I asked if you were a couple once.
It's like a brother. Look out for each other.
You did hear the part about him throwing me off the ship without my helmet, right?
I did.
Really? 'Cause I'm really
Took what should be ours, like Anderson doors on series.
Is he going to kill him? Well, he's dead.
What happened in Eros was a genocide on Belters, done by those who think we're weak, divided, who could never unite and fight back. We're going after those who killed Eros. Tell that to your factions.
It's not a bad speech.
Listen, I hope you understand if I ask you to sit this one out.
What the hell use I ever be out on a ship? Going down on the assault team. Somebody's gotta keep these idiots from shooting each other. Oh, I ain't sitting this one out.
I mean, I didn't think you would, but in the assault team?
Get him a proper scotch, please. Lagavulin. Why don't you grow a pair and tell me what you really think? We're just two people having a drink. No wrecks. I'll get the ball rolling. I'm a smug old bitch who enjoys playing with life and death on her big chessboard.
And the solar system is in tatters because of people like you and Aaron Wright. Despite your delusions to the contrary, you, Madame Undersecretary, may be the worst person I have ever met. Oh, then you want the real story?
Yes, I would.
Yes, I would as well.
The Belters who seized control of Anderson Station tried to negotiate for days. UNN Command was jamming their comms, but when the Belters finally gave up, Colonel Johnson wasn't told that they'd surrendered.
Oh.
Because the powers that be wanted to send a message to the Belt.
Don't
Defiance,
rise up.
We wipe you out.
Her spy! Her spy!
I need you to do something for me.
sure I'm going to love it.
I need to send a communique off everybody's radar. No traces back to me. I want to talk to Fred Johnson.
That is
Dangerous.
treason.
Christian, you're making me worried about you, hon.
Stay away from the aqua! Star Helix, what you doing here? You lose a bet.
It's that kid from the water and his uncle thing.
What you doing here?
It's on Eros.
No shit. You see what they did there?
Isn't pretty.
They just hate space.
Ooh. All the different colors is nice.
Where's that stealth ship?
It's supposed to be here.
It's
Heads up!
stealthy.
We got a bogey on. Hang on!
I see it. Inner hole, C9. I can patch that.
Amos, stay pump. One hard maneuver and you're done.
We don't get that thruster back and we're all done.
I'm going.
Be careful, Amos. Please be careful.
See the problem? We're gonna need a few seconds to fix it.
Amos!
God damn it, I need that thruster! Give me a few seconds! We got him now! Hard bird, now!
We do that and Amos is dead.
Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that then.
Done!
Amos, we're about to do a hiking maneuver.
Give me a second! That's secure! Alex, move! Time!
Oh no. Hold on.
Surprise, assholes! Nice work, Alex! Well done! Look like nobody home, maybe. Hold your fire!
You okay? There's a Joe around.
Invincible me!
I would not be that confident, kid.
They're all using gel guns. 5 of you guys come with me. Stay sharp. Everybody stay sharp and watch the doors and corners. Doors and corners where they get you.
I like how Miller just instantly became like the boss of.
You win? Rough and not take. We're proceeding to hard dock.
You haven't won yet, but you also haven't lost, so there's that.
Show me some hands!
Come on, get up.
There's something weird going on here. They're being controlled by something, but what? Or who? Why are they so no, don't! You killed them all, you can't get answers! How are you gonna get answers?
Nothing happens to this guy. Get him out of here.
Yeah, you need answers.
He's alive, guys.
Anyway, turn it off, dirtbag.
Now's the time for all good men to come to the aid of their species.
It's the scientist guy.
You're gonna help us make a vaccine.
No, that goes against everything we're trying to accomplish.
You infected a station full of
They're
belters.
infected to save us all.
You're gonna have to be a hell of a lot more specific than that.
Yeah.
We made a discovery on Phoebe. An organism that can repurpose other life forms and use them to evolve.
Into what?
Yeah.
That's what we're trying to find out. If we master it, we can apply it
Apply it to what?
Yeah.
to everything. We become our own gods. Imagine human beings able to live in hard vacuum without a suit or under the crushing atmosphere of a gas giant, or able to hibernate long enough to travel to the stars.
That's why you were willing to start a war.
Kill 100,000 people?
The protomolecule wasn't sent here by accident. Earth was its target. It was sent to hijack life on our planet for its own ends. Without this work, humanity will be left unarmed, ignorant, vulnerable to an enemy who has already fired the first shot.
That's what you think, though. They don't have proof.
So long as I can get back to my work. No restrictions.
You have to have restrictions. You're fucking psycho. You killed 100,000 people.
So we have an understanding.
No. They're gonna shoot him.
We're gonna need complete access to the data, as well as the names of everyone responsible for setting this in motion.
Yeah. He killed Julie. Like, what did... I'm sorry. Did you expect something else? Okay, so we're starting to get a little bit more of answers as to the proto-molecule blue goo, as to how it came to be at Phoebe, and at least how these people believe that it came to be at Phoebe, and how they planned to use Eros Station to save the human race, right? So, okay, let me try to unpack this. Okay, so they mentioned last episode, but I forgot to talk about it in the post-episode discussion, that the blue goo proto-molecule is the first definitive proof of extra solar life, which is I think what they call it, which I assume is the same as extraterrestrial, right? It's extra solar because it's also not life that was on Mars, because I don't think there was any life on Mars or Phoebe. Like, there was no life in the universe that they had found as of that moment, right? So this is the first example of life that exists outside of the known universe that they know in 23rd century Expanse universe. So, scientist guy thinks that it is a weapon, right? Like, it's like whoever sent it has some sort of gun, a metaphorical gun, not a real one, and they fired the first shot, right? They sent this to Earth, and it didn't quite get to Earth. It got to Phoebe Station, but they sent it towards Earth to try to eliminate Earth. At least that's the way that the scientist is seeing it, which is really interesting, because unless the blue goo proto-molecule stuff has some way of communicating with him, why is that his assumption? You know, why does he think that this evolving life form is necessarily an attack against Earth, an attempt to rid the world of humans? You know, it's kind of an interesting leap that doesn't have a lot of hard evidence backed behind it, at least that we've seen so far, you know. So I'm curious as to where he got that idea from. I am also curious at the discrepancy between the soldiers on this station having gel guns and then also having a stealth ship that... It's like they don't want to kill people unnecessarily, but then they also don't care about expendable lives, you know? Because the logic behind him saying, like, oh, I'm like Genghis Khan, you know, we have to sacrifice 100,000 lives on Eros in order to understand this thing better so that we can save all of humanity and have humanity evolve into a life form that works better with space than the current life form that we have, right? But I don't know. I've talked about this before, I think, in Expanse, which if you devalue one human life or 100,000 human lives, then you're kind of devaluing all human life. So your argument is a little bit skewed, because it's not even, oh, we sacrifice these people on this ship in order to save, like, the last remnants of humanity or whatever, right? It's like, we purposefully inject these people as a sacrifice in order to maybe hope that one day we can find something because of it. But, like, why would you not, if you think this is a strike against humanity, why would you not be interested in even trying to find a vaccine? Because if you find a vaccine, you vaccinate everybody in humanity, then that cannot be used as a weapon against you. But instead, you want to use it to evolve humanity. So your goal isn't really to save humanity, it's to create a new kind of humanity that you view as better than the humanity that currently exists right now, right? I just feel like his argument is a bit weak. I do think that it would have been advantageous for them to find out about Julie Mao and Julie Mao's dad, rather, and Aaron somebody, the guy that is plotting with Julie Mao's dad, right? it would have been advantageous for them to find out all of the players and all of the, chess pieces in this game. But I knew 1,000,000% that Miller was going to kill this guy. There was no way that he was going to work with this guy who killed Julie and saw it as a good science experiment. It was just never going to happen. That's not who Miller is. Amos probably would have been like, unless it was Naomi, Amos probably would have been able to overcome, right? But that's not who Miller is, especially when it comes to Julie. Like, he's not going to make a deal with the devil, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Again, yes, it sucks because it would have benefited them greatly to know more about the people involved in this conspiracy. But am I sad that that scientist guy died? Like, no. Just like with the people with the stuff that went crazy and attacked them. It's funny because Miller in that instance knows, like, no, we need them alive so they can tell us the shit that we need to know. But when it comes to the scientist guy, he's kind of blinded by the, no, but you killed Julie, right? So objectivity is not going to exist when emotions get involved, so I understand. But I do hope that the one guy that lived can help in some way. In this episode, we actually found out a little bit more about Fred Johnson and his history. We found it out from the guy who stepped down as the fleet commander because he didn't agree with them attacking a Mars station, satellite station. And I understand, but I also understand that Christian is trying to not get caught with the least number of casualties without starting a war, so she's kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place. But we learned more about Fred Johnson from this fleet commander. When him and Christian met in the bar, he told us that Fred Johnson was unaware that Anderson Station had surrendered. They did not tell him purposefully because they wanted to make an example out of Anderson Station. And instead of coming forward with that information, which assumedly he at some point found out, he just joined the OPA and started trying to work for the rights of Belters as, because they were okay with sacrificing this whole station of Belters in order to make a point, right? So Fred Johnson realized that and was like, nah, I'm going to help the Belters. It definitely makes me see Fred Johnson in a different light. I don't think he's the bad guy. Obviously, he's not the true butcher of Anderson Station. He's a pawn that got played in a giant chess game, and it sucks, but he's kind of as much a victim as the people of Anderson Station. I mean, obviously he's still alive, so not quite, but yeah. And I definitely see him differently, although I still think he's a little bit shady. Oh, speaking of the scene in the bar with the fleet commander guy, we saw Christian talking to her spy guy from Spartacus, and she wants to have a meeting with Fred Johnson, which is technically treason because they're saying that he's the guy who did all this stuff, right? But she gotta do what she gotta do, and I'm curious as to what she wants with Fred Johnson, and I'm also very stressed about it because I love Christian, and I need her to be okay. So, like, girl, be careful. Be fucking careful as fuck, please. Please. Okay, some tiny things in this episode was Amos leaving Alex with the random woman because he's feeling guilty and saying, we should have saved more, or we should have tried to save more. What does it say about us that we didn't even try to save these people? Which I think, like I said in the last episode, it's just, y'all are trying to save more people now. It's like you could only do so much for the people on Eros because most of them had already been infected. So getting out so that you can stop this huge conspiracy that's happening is more beneficial than saving a few hundred of them. You know what I mean? Like, they saved the people that came to them and asked to be saved, but they didn't go out of their way. But for the most part, the people in Eros Station were in those chambers, right? Because when Miller and Holden are walking around, there's not like a bunch of people walking around. Am I wrong with that? I don't know. I just felt like they didn't think that they had the choice to or the time to go and look for people to be saved. They had to get out, and they took the people with them that they could. So I don't think that Alex should feel guilty about that. But I do think that it is endearing to his character that he does feel guilty about that. It does make you like him. Or it does me anyway. I don't know. And I think it's just funny, Amos, like, not wanting to listen to it and, like, peacing out. It's very Amos, like, I also liked the conversation between Holden and Naomi where Holden's a bit like, hey, okay, so you never dated Amos, right? Because really don't want to be thrown into space and fucking killed because he gets jealous that, you know, we're fucking now. So it's just funny. It's just funny because, like, I don't know. I don't see Amos as having a crush on Naomi. I think that their relationship is a lot different from that. Like she said, brother, sister. I think they have a different kind of bond. So would Amos kill Holden if he fucked with Naomi? Yeah, of course he would. But, like, for just having sex with her and, like, kind of maybe dating, I don't think so. Like, he might get jealous because this is another person bonding with Naomi, which could threaten his bond with her. But I don't know. We're going to have to see how it plays out. But it was a funny scene and it was cute. And I liked that we learned more about Naomi's past. We learned a little bit that she ran with the wrong crowd and they did some bad stuff that she regrets. Okay, sorry, I had to plug the light back in. So if this is like a weird little jump, yeah. But yeah, they did some bad stuff that she regrets and some people died. And I just really like learning about Naomi's past and I hope we continue to learn more about it because she's a great character and I just love her a lot. So it was also cool to see Miller want to join the assault team even though it stressed me out because I'm like, please don't fucking try to get yourself killed because you don't see what you have to live for unless it's revenge for Julie, right? He's very reckless, Miller, so he stresses me out when he starts making reckless choices. But it was cool to see him in the assault team. I'm glad that he survived. I'm glad that he met the kids from the water and the Uncle Mateo thing. I can't remember this freaking kid's name, but it was cool to see them kind of team up a little bit and to interact. That was fun. And obviously he made a not great choice with the scientist guy, but again, I completely understand and was expecting it from Miller, so not really sure why. Well, I guess they don't know Miller as well as we do, so maybe they wouldn't be expecting it from him, but like I was 0% shocked at him shooting the scientist guy. So all right, and I think the last thing I have to say about this episode, I think I might have forgotten something like I did in the last episode, I don't know, is Amos going down to repair the thruster, right? And I do think that there might be some tension in Holden and Naomi's relationship in the future regarding Amos, especially since he's the captain and he has to make decisions that could risk Amos's life like that. I'm going to be interested to see how that's going to play out with Naomi and Holden going forward. I was very worried about Amos, but luckily he was okay. And he just got thrown around a little bit, but he did not die, thank goodness. And it was really cute when he came back up and he's like, did we win? Like, you know, is it over? Did we win? It's like, well, you didn't die, so, you know, you're doing good so far, but when? Not yet. But yeah, I just really like Amos, and I am curious about how that dynamic is going to be going forward with Amos and Naomi and Holden. Alright guys, so I do think that that is all that I have to say about this episode. As always, let me know what you thought in the comments down below without any spoilers, and until next time, bye guys!